Ivy and Bean. One big happy family. In a pickle. "I think I saw her arm move," said Bean. Really, she hadn't seen anything, but pretending made life more interesting. "I think I saw her breathe," said Ivy. She made binoculars with her fingers and peered at Zellophine. "The blanket's going up and down." "Wah," said Bean quietly out of the side of her mouth. "That was you," Ivy giggled. Bean tiptoed closer. Zellophine lay like a blob on the tinfoil table. Her lips were still drooly. Her cheeks were still droopy. She wasn't moving. "Maybe she's stunned," said Bean. "Maybe," said Ivy. She looked at Zellophine a moment, and then she bonked her on the head. "Wake up, sister!" "She'll thank us in the end," Bean said. She picked Zellophine up and dropped her on the floor. "Wake up, baby!" They threw Zellophine around the room a little, but she didn't come to life. She was still a doll. Bean thought it had been fun trying, but Ivy was worried. "I can feel myself getting more spoiled," she said. "All you have to do is give me the jiggly man," said Bean. "Then you'll be cured." Ivy shook her head. "No, I won't. That's how spoiled I am. I won't give you the only toy you want. I won't even let you play with it." "Aw, come on." Suddenly, Bean wanted the jiggly man with all her heart. "Don't be so spoiled." "See what I mean?" said Ivy. She chewed her thumb knuckle, which was a thing she did when she was worried. "I've got to get a sister." "Let's try brain food," Bean suggested. Brain food was one of Bean and Ivy's greatest inventions. Everyone knows that food helps your brain think. But normal food just helps your brain think normal thoughts. When Ivy and Bean wanted to think unnormal thoughts, they ate unnormal food. That's why they called it brain food. In the kitchen, Ivy got out carrot sticks and chocolate milk powder. One of the things that Bean liked best about Ivy's house was chocolate milk powder. They each rolled a carrot in chocolate milk powder and chomped it down. "Delicious," said Bean. The second one wasn't quite as delicious. The third one was pretty bad. "I think we need to try something else anyway," said Ivy. "My thoughts are still normal." She rooted around in the refrigerator and found some pickles. "That's good," Bean said. "Pickles are shaped like brains." Slowly, Ivy peeled 2 bananas. She took a pickle in one hand and a banana in the other. So did Bean. "Go," said Ivy. She stuffed some banana in her mouth and took a bite of pickle. She said, but she shivered when she said it. Bean did it the other way around. She chomped off a big piece of pickle and shoved some banana in after it. "Whoa," she said, swallowing. Ivy's face shriveled as she took another bite of pickle. "I think I'm starting to have unnormal thoughts," said Bean. She took a deep breath and ate half a banana. "Put a pickle in there," said Ivy, which meant put a pickle in there. Her mouth was full. Bean took a little bite of pickle. "Bleh," she said. Ivy's mom came into the kitchen. "What are you eating?" she asked. "Pickle Nana," said Ivy, shivering. She swallowed hard. "Pickles and bananas," explained Bean. "It's helping us think unnormal thoughts." "You two have plenty of unnormal thoughts already," said Ivy's mom. "No," said Ivy. "We haven't even had one yet. I'm going to eat 10 more and see what happens." "I don't want to see what happens," said Ivy's mom sternly. "You may have 1 more." "That's not going to be enough," said Ivy. She reached into the jar and pulled out the biggest pickle she could find. It was some pickle. It really looked like a brain. Ivy opened her mouth, but she didn't put the pickle in it. "Eat up," said Bean, passing her a banana. "Wait, I'm reading this pickle jar," said Ivy. And she was. She read it very slowly. On the front it said, Barney's extra sour dills, pickles of the gods. Then there was a picture of a lot of gods sitting on a cloud eating pickles. The most important god had a little balloon of words coming out of his mouth. This is one fine pickle. Just yam it down, said Bean. Don't think about it. Ivy put the pickle and the banana down. I don't need to eat it. I just got a great idea. Good, because I feel gross, said Bean. The only thing brain food was making her think about was bananas. What is it? Ivy couldn't wink, but she could cross her eyes big time. She crossed her eyes at Bean, which meant, I can't tell you in front of my mom. Let's go outside, she suggested, with Zelephine. Ivy waited until they were in the front yard before she turned to Bean and whispered, We need to beg the gods for a baby. Asking for trouble. Begging the gods for a baby turned out to be complicated. First, you had to find a spot with grass but without trees. If the gods dropped a baby out of the sky, you didn't want the baby getting stuck in a tree. Ivy's backyard had too many rocks. Her front yard had too many scratchy bushes. Bean's front yard had trees. Her backyard? No way. A baby could get hurt on all the stuff in Bean's backyard. In the end, they decided to go to Monkey Park, a block and a half from Pancake Court. Now that Ivy and Bean were 7 9/12, they could go to Monkey Park by themselves, as long as they followed 5 million rules when they did it. In Monkey Park were one big flat field and one not-so-flat field. Usually, the flat field was covered with soccer-playing kids, but now, in the middle of the afternoon, there were only a few kids there, kicking balls around, which made it a perfect place to ask the gods for a baby. They could drop her anywhere, and that baby would be fine. Okay, said Ivy, slapping her hands together. The first thing we need to do is make a big circle of flowers. How do you know? Asked Bean. I've done this before, Ivy said. I begged the gods for a kitten. Did it work? Ivy frowned. Sort of. I got a stuffed kitten. So it didn't work, Bean thought. But she didn't say that because she didn't want to be a discouraging friend. Instead, she said, We can't pick any flowers. They belong to Monkey Park. I know. We have to go around and find flowers that have already fallen on the ground. Oh, okay. Bean looked at the grass. There weren't any flowers. I'll go look near the fountain. The fountain was the reason Monkey Park was called Monkey Park. In the middle of the fountain, there was a statue of a smiling monkey in a shiny blue suit, holding a plate of grapes and oranges. Water spurted out of his hat. As Bean walked around the fountain looking under bushes, she saw her neighbors, Jean the boy and Jean the girl, and their baby, Kalia. They were having a picnic. Hi, Bean, called Jean the girl. What you doing? Looking for dead flowers, said Bean. She found a petal and picked it up. You want some lunch? Asked Jean the boy. We have pâté. Pâté? Bean didn't know what it was, but it sounded terrible. Even worse than bananas and pickles. Bean didn't say that. She said, Thanks, but I already had lunch a while ago. Jean the boy looked grumpy. We were supposed to have lunch a while ago, but somebody needed a nap. He squinted at Kalia, who had brown goop smeared all over her face. No, said Kalia. And then somebody yelled for an hour and a half, added Jean the girl, squinting at Kalia too. No, said Kalia. And then somebody had a big poop, said Jean the boy. No, hollered Kalia. She staggered toward Bean with her goopy brown hands. Bebe! Bean waved and zipped away as fast as she could. She poked under bushes until she found some purple flowers and some pink flowers and some white flowers and some flowers that were so dead they were brown. When she brought them back to the flat field, Ivy used almost all of them to make a giant circle. The rest she handed to Bean. Okay, Ivy said. I'll stand in the middle of the circle with Zellophine and do the begging, while you dance around the edge of the circle and toss flowers. Dance around the edge of the circle and toss flowers? Asked Bean. Me? Why? Gods like it, said Ivy firmly. What are you going to be doing? I'm going to be chanting and throwing Zellophine up in the air so they get the right idea. With the gods, you have to be really clear. Chanting and throwing Zellophine around sounded better than dancing in a circle and tossing flowers. Why can't I do the chanting part? Asked Bean. I'm the one who needs the sister, said Ivy. I have to do the chanting. She stepped into the center of the circle and held Zellophine up to the sky. Ooh, she cried. Then she looked over her shoulder at Bean. Dance, she whispered. Bean hopped from one foot to the other. She felt dumb. I seek your help because I'm getting spoiled down here, yelled Ivy. She waved Zellophine at the sky. I need one of these, only real. Bean hopped from her second foot back to her first foot. She tossed a couple of flowers. The kids on the other side of the field stopped kicking balls to watch. Bean wished the gods would hurry up. Yoo-hoo, yelled Ivy. Take this offering. She threw Zellophine into the sky. And give me a sister. She looked over her shoulder. Dance harder. Bean did a kick. The watching kids laughed. Bean scowled at them. Stupid gods, she thought. Stupid baby. Ivy closed her eyes and yelled, I'm not even watching, gods, so don't worry that I'll see you. Nothing happened. Dance, she hissed. Bean skipped. So did the watching kids. If you need a few minutes to find one, I can wait, Ivy called to the sky. Oh, gods! She held out her arms, ready to catch a baby. I'll be right here, ready when you are. The watching kids held out their arms and staggered around. And suddenly, Bean had a wonderful idea.